The first question, when will the new Dragon Quest 12 is coming? Do you know? No, I do not know. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be announced next year. And unfortunately, I have strong beliefs that it's gonna be politicized. And I probably won't care for it. But we'll see what happens. It's Dragon Quest. Hoping if Super Mario RPG sells well enough, we'll get a sequel. Like a real sequel? Wow. It did get a sequel in the form of Paper Mario on the Nintendo 64. Developed by your favorite company, Intelligent Systems. Developers of Fire Emblem. This is Edelgard. My sweater of Obey. I mean, you guys gotta obey Edelgard. I love this. And I also have a t-shirt with the exact same logo. What do you want me to do? I'm an Edelgard fanboy. No, I don't think we'll ever get a Super Mario RPG direct sequel. Like we need the same universe, the same story, you know, same characters, maybe new characters, maybe the same characters from before, and then Yoshi will finally be a party member, or Luigi, or I don't know, other characters will be there like Wario, Waluigi, Princess Daisy, was it? Maybe Toad will be a playable character. If you're asking me if I'd love to get a Super Mario RPG 2, like a direct sequel, and not more Paper Mario games, I'd love to do that. You know, Square Enix and Nintendo could work it out. But Square Enix is on the political side nowadays, and Nintendo doesn't seem to care, so I don't think how that relationship could work. But sure, I'd love to get a sequel one day. Do I think we'll get it? Speaking about Super Mario RPG, we're listening to the battle theme. No, I don't think it's gonna happen, but I hope Nintendo and Square Enix prove me wrong. Do you think Neptunia has declined with Sisters vs. Sisters? Why are you asking that question? You're an old fan. You should know by now that I'm not really a fan of that series. In fact, I kinda dislike that series. I'm not against it. You know, I just don't give a shit about that series. So, don't you think you're asking the wrong question? I mean, don't you think you're asking the wrong guy? Did you play Super Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga? It's much better than Super Mario RPG in my opinion. I like Super Mario RPG way more, but Superstar Saga was fine. I just wasn't the biggest fan. I never finished it. I put some hours into it and I was like, okay, it's a good game, it's a fun game, but I don't know, man. Just maybe I'll jump back to that series one of these days and start with that one because it's the first one. But we'll see, right? Have you seen Ellen? No. It's an Elona remake coming to stream. I don't even know what Elona is. Which series has your favorite protagonists and which series has your worst ones? So to answer your second question, worst JRPG protagonists, there's a video I did on that some time ago. It's just called Top 10 Worst JRPG Protagonists. Go check it out. As for which series has my favorite protagonists, I couldn't tell you because every series has a bunch of games where the protagonists, some of the protagonists are good and the others are kind of forgettable or mediocre or bad. Like, I don't know, take Xenoblade for example. Shulk is an interesting protagonist, but he's kind of also on the generic side. He's not that interesting, he's just okay at best. And then Rex is one of the worst JRPG protagonists I've seen in my life. He's okay too, he's not that bad, but he's like, man, this guy should never have been a JRPG protagonist. And then Noah. Okay, and Noah is probably my favorite in the trilogy, right, in the main trilogy. But if we're including the other two games, well, Xenoblade Chronicles X has a customizable protagonist, so that doesn't count. And finally, we're getting to Torna. Laura is the main character there, and she is my favorite Xenoblade protagonist. So you see, it's kind of like a mixed bag, you know. So I like some protagonists, I don't like some others. So I don't think I can choose a series, an entire series, where I can say, oh, this series has my favorite protagonists. I don't think so. Every single one of my favorite JRPG series has a bunch of protagonists that are kind of like, I don't know about this guy, or I don't know about this girl, you see? So, yeah. Can't answer that. Did you hear that the Star Ocean 2 remake team is in talks with Square Enix to work on more projects? You mean gem drops? Yeah, hopefully they will remake some other JRPGs within the same style. I'd love to see that. I think the most obvious one that everybody wants is Xenogears. We'll see what happens there. Xenogears is an action RPG with modern graphics. I don't think it will work. Well, it could work with modern graphics, just not, with an action role-playing system. So stick to turn-based, and if they want to turn that into a HD 2D graphic style remake, I'm in. You mentioned playing fighting games. Do you have a favorite fighting game and character? Sure. Although it's, my favorite fighting game of all time is Persona 4 Arena. And obviously my favorite character is Mitsuru. But that's kind of like cheating, right? Because it's based on a JRPG, and my character is from a JRPG. So I guess I'm gonna have to pick my second favorite fighting game, which is Persona 4 Ultimax. I'm just kidding. Wow, man, BlazBlue Cross-Tag Battle is also one of my favorites, but it has Persona characters. Damn, that's a hard one. Well, let's just choose randomly any BlazBlue game. Calamity Trigger, I don't know. Noelle is my favorite fighter. Definitely. Although I like the guy with a bag on his head. He uses a big lance, I think, as a weapon. I don't know what the fuck that is. I like that character. Though, wait, I may be confusing that guy. Maybe that guy's from Guilty Gear. Yeah. I'm gonna stick with Noelle. Or what about the androids in Mortal Kombat? Sector was my man, the red one, the red android from Mortal Kombat 3 and Ultimate. That was my favorite character, and I'm a beast with that guy. Original versions. Would you say RPGs have gotten easier or harder over the past decade? Pretty much the same. We got a bunch of really easy ones, we got a bunch of really hard ones. What I can tell you is that I think a lot of developers don't know. We've discussed this before, so I'm gonna be quick. I don't think a lot of new developers know how to make their games hard, so they usually put a lot of HP to their bosses, or they make it stupidly unbalanced or stupidly unfair. Yeah, so I don't see any difference, it's the same. RPGs have always been the same. Some hard, some easy ones, some balanced ones. Same. I don't feel difficulty has increased or decreased with new releases. But it's modern JRPGs do feel more unbalanced. Like, quality assurance is not quite there like it was back in the day. Which version of Superstar Saga? There's only one version, man. It's the Game Boy Advance version. I know it got ported to the Wii or Wii U maybe, I don't know, but I played the original version on an emulator. Do you play Smash Brothers Ultimate? No, I don't. Have you played Paper Mario 1000-Year Door growing up? No, I remember playing Paper Mario on the GameCube in a game store for a while in there, and I remember liking it, but I never bought it, and I forgot about its existence until many years later when I was like, oh man, there's a new Paper Mario coming out? Oh, I remember the one that I played on the GameCube. And then I realized that that wasn't the first one, that was the second one. And so I found that about the 64 game. Anyway, I know it's getting an HD remaster. I'm interested. I probably won't get it because it's not a special game to me. I got Super Mario RPG on the Switch day one because it was that special to me. But Paper Mario, I don't know. But I'll get it once it's like, I don't know, $20 digital. Is it getting a physical release? If so, then I'm interested in the physical release because the GameCube game physical, it's kind of expensive nowadays. Is Breath of Fire Dragon Quarter that bad, or was it simply too different from the previous ones? Both. Well, it's not that bad. No, it's not that bad. But it's not good either. It's so hard to get into, hard to understand, and even if you do, it has a shit ton of penalties that shouldn't have been there. And the fact that it was precisely way too different, that's what ruined it. Same problem with some Final Fantasy games, right? Some of the newer ones. They're just too different, that's why they have a lot of haters. But Dragon Quarter 5 also has a lot of people that love it. Not everybody hates the game. I don't like it one bit. I do believe it's one of the worst JRPGs on the PS2. But it's not that bad. It's just a convoluted mess. And the penalties kill it, man. the penalties, the fact that you can't transform into a dragon unless you risk your health and everybody else and die. The fact that if you get a game over, you start from the beginning. It's like a roguelike, you start from level 1 again. I mean, it's kind of bullshit. You have a limited amount of save points, like save tokens. Like, this is not Resident Evil, Capcom, this is Breath of Fire. I don't know what the fuck happened there, man. They wanted to do something completely different and expecting it would be a massive success. Like, oh my god, revolutionary title, but no, they fucked up miserably. So I suggest you play the game. It's kind of on the cheap side. I think the PS2 version goes for like $20 maybe nowadays, maybe less. So pick it up if you see it for cheap and give it a try. Maybe you'll like it. I didn't. Have you played Persona 5 Tactica yet? Nope. Did you pick up any games during Black Friday sales? Yes, I did. Only PS4 games. I didn't pick anything else. No Switch games. I kind of wanted to pick up Fire Emblem Three Houses. No, Fire Emblem Warriors Three Hopes. It was dirt cheap. It was like $15 or like $20, and I didn't pick it up for, I don't know, man. I was like, man, I'm interested in this game, but not that interested. And yeah, I got some PS4 games. I got a special edition of Sakuna of Rise and Ruin, which you can see in the back. And I got some other PS4 games that I was missing in my collection, but no PS5 games. What do you think of Valkyria Chronicles? I think it's a masterpiece, man. I think it's one of the best PlayStation 3 JRPGs, and also one of the best PS4 JRPGs. It's also there. And also one of the best Switch JRPGs, and also one of the best Steam JRPGs, and also... No, it's not on PS5, is it? No. That game is a masterpiece no matter where you play it, and it's one of the best JRPGs ever made in history. Period. Is there any series you've grown to love more with each entry and others where your love is fading away? Yes, the best example of the first one, a series that I've grown to love more with each entry, is Shin Megami Tensei. I've been a fan for many years, but I wasn't that big of a fan. I was more of a Persona fan. But then Shin Megami Tensei won me over, and with each entry it's only gotten better for me. And the other series that my love is fading away, I guess my love for Final Fantasy faded away a long time ago, so that can't be it. That's a tough one. Maybe... You know what, maybe Persona? I think my love for Persona is starting to fade away, but the remake of Persona 3 is coming out next year in a couple of months, so maybe it'll revive my love for the series. I'm still a big fan, but I don't know, I feel like my interest in Persona has been taking over my interest in Shin Megami Tensei, ironically, even though they're part of the same series. Well, if I say that, oh my god, people are gonna go here with their pitchforks. Like, Persona isn't SMT! Okay, dude. It was a spin-off of SMT, but whatever. Anyway, but yeah, it's kind of like cheating answering Persona. So forget about SMT, the SMT universe. A series that my love has starting to fade away with each entry. Well, that happened to me with Breath of Fire. We were talking about Breath of Fire. I remember when Breath of Fire 5 came out, I mean, it was a huge disappointment. And when I played it, I was like, man, this is really bad. Let me put it this way. My love for Breath of Fire hasn't faded away with each entry. It's more like the first Breath of Fire game I ever played was 4. And then 1. And those two games made me, I became a fan. But then I played Breath of Fire 2 and I hated the game. And then 3, and I liked it. I didn't love it passionately, but I really enjoyed Breath of Fire 3. And then I played 5, and I didn't like it. And then 6 came into existence, unfortunately, which was a mobile spin-off and was pretty fucking bad. Never came out of Japan, and I was like, man, this series is done for. So it doesn't exactly 100% answer your question, but Breath of Fire will be that series. Because years later I came back to Breath of Fire 2 on the Switch Online emulator, and I got far into it, but again I ditched the game and I still hate it. Do you think there will be a PS5 Pro? Definitely. Next year probably. Does that apply to Valkyria Chronicles 2? Valkyria Chronicles 4 too. Yes! It's also a masterpiece. Valkyria 1 is better, but Valkyria 4 is also a phenomenal game, man. On every console, it's a masterpiece. Is there any RPG protagonist character that's overrated? For example, Cloud from Final Fantasy VII. Sure, I think Tidus. Well, Tidus also gets a lot of hate, but he also gets a lot of love. And I think he's one of the worst protagonists ever in history of JRPGs. We're overrated. Well, Shulk from Xenoblade, I don't think it's that great. He's just okay at best. Shulk, definitely, from Xenoblade Chronicles. Who else? How about Joker from Persona 5? I mean, sure, he's an interesting protagonist, and a lot of people relate to that guy because he's a little bit nerdy with glasses and he plays video games, and he's like, yeah, we relate to that guy, but come on, I mean, he's not that cool. Joker is a bit overrated. I don't know, but I feel Persona 5 became the new Chrono Trigger. Everybody compares every single video game, every single turn-based RPG gets compared nowadays to Persona 5. Persona 5 is the new Chrono Trigger, man. It's like, it's on a silver plate, and I love the game. I think it's a masterpiece too, but yeah, Joker definitely. Who else? How about 2B? 2B from Nier Automata. She's insanely popular, and she's a great character, and I love her. I fucking love her. Not because of the man of culture obvious reasons, but because she's a very interesting character. But she's not that great of a character. She's also a bit overrated. I was wondering what your thoughts are on the PS5. Okay, I've only owned the PS5 for a couple of months. And I really like it. There are some quality of life improvements. It's faster, the graphics are better. You can play PS4 games. You can transfer all of your PS4 data to your PS5 and play it there. And by the way, I recovered all of my PS4 games from my other account. I have been reaching out to PlayStation support saying, hey, I forgot my password for my other account and I can't play my games on my PS5. And they were always giving me protocol and, bullshit. Or the chat interface, started going crazy, glitched. And man, and a couple of days ago, I was like, I'm gonna try it out one last time. And now everything worked masterfully. I didn't even have to chat with anybody. I just told the AI, hey, I want my account back. Sure, what's your email? Here, I just send you an email. Click on it. And I clicked on it and voila, all of my PS4 games from my second account came back and I can finally play them on my PS5. So that's wonderful, I think the PS5 is amazing. I'm slowly starting to fall in love with it. I really like it. I still hate its design, its physical hardware design looks fucking horrible. But in terms of software, I really like it. The retrocompatibility is awesome. I haven't tried out any of the PlayStation Plus services, but they seem pretty fair to me, pretty interesting. But I also think they're kind of on the cheap side of things. Like, all you do is rent games. You only have access to the games in there. There's a shit ton of games that you can have access to. But you subscribe, and if you unsubscribe, you can no longer play those games, even though they do install on your PlayStation. I think that's a little bit cheeky, but it's also a good idea for people who are gaming a lot of time per day. I don't think it's a good idea for me because I don't play video games all day like a lot of people do, but I think a lot of people will easily take advantage of that for I think it's like $70 a year, something like that. So it's kind of cheap and you have access to a shit ton of games, including a shit ton of modern ones. So it's good. So yeah, I love the PlayStation 5. And do I think if it will ever get some great JRPGs that are actually exclusive? No, I think the time for exclusive is over. Take a look at the PS4. PS4 only has 5 JRPGs that are exclusive to it, and 2 of them didn't even come out of Japan. One of them is based on Record of Grand Crest War. Amazing anime, by the way. And the game is a real-time strategy RPG, never came out of Japan, exclusive to PS4. And there's another exclusive that I don't remember. And the other 3 that are exclusive on PS4 are The Witch and the Hundred Knight 2, Sakura Wars, and that Ken's Rage game called Lost in Paradise, I think. Something like that. Fist of the North Star, which kind of like influenced by Shenmue, you know, and Yakuza, that Yakuza series, kind of like that. And yeah, so no, I don't think we'll get more exclusive JRPGs on the PS5 in the future. Maybe 1 or 2, maybe. No, I don't know. I don't think so. Thank you, Kaladin Kabata. I purchased 5 physical copies of your books on Amazon. You mean 5 physical copies of each, or separately? You bought my 5 books. Whatever the case, thanks a bunch, man. Once I get time, I can't wait to read them. I'm starting with the Revenant Army. That's great, you know, Revenant Army and Terra Gaiden are the oldest books, some of the oldest books I've ever written, so it's a good place to start, and Reaper's Thorn was the last one. But they're completely different, man. Hope you enjoy the books nonetheless. Thanks for the purchase. Link to my books, to those books, in the description, everybody. Oh yeah.